And all makes perfect sense. Yeah, there's something fishy going on with the entire number system. We're just taught it, right? We're just taught it. It's crammed on our throats, our heads, and yet we don't really understand why it is, what it's trying to do. But I figured out now it's an incorrect interpretation of the message. The number system is a message, and mathematics is the incorrect interpretation. But math works so well that people think, well, it obviously must be correct because it works, but it only works to create technology. That's how the mathematics enters this realm. That's how it affects this realm, is through technology, right? And what's technology doing to the natural world? Well, it's freaking destroying it. So this is why mathematics is wrong, is because it destroys all the life on the planet. But we don't want to talk about that. The problem is that math works so well as a tool of Maya that it fools people in that, well, it's right because it works. Look at what it does. It makes all this stuff, and the stuff is doing stuff. But what is the stuff doing to us? We're totally messed up, aren't we? Completely addicted. So yeah, math is the wrong path. Mathematics, the whole thing, is the wrong path. And good luck trying to get people to listen to that one, hey? Yeah, there's some Cantor, I think, went nuts. I can't remember their names now. Boltzmann, but they were dealing. A couple of them were dealing with infinities, and infinity will make you go a little bonkers. But the irony of it is that a couple of these guys also thought that they were messengers of God. Like, I literally believe I'm a messenger of God. I do. It's not that big of a deal. But but these guys thought they were as well, but they ended up killing themselves and starving themselves to death. And that ain't gonna happen with me because I'm not nuts. So I guess what I was getting at there is that if it was the path of truth that these brilliant mathematicians, the best mathematicians that ever lived, if it was actually truth, then they should have went more sane, right? The closer you are to truth and reality, the more sane you should be. I think. So if four of the greatest mathematicians ever went mad, to me, that's proof that math isn't correct. It's actually leading into delusion. No, It's surprising, but not many scientists want to hear about how science is wrong. The problem is that it's actually effective, right? It builds stuff. It makes technology. So therefore they think it's working. But unfortunately, it's working just to drag us farther into samsara. That's exactly what it's for. It's exactly a tool of Maya to bring us into farther into delusion. And boy, has it ever worked. So yeah, it works all right in that fashion. Yeah. Like you would think that it only follows reasonably that a direct message from the creator would hold some power, wouldn't it? And incorrectly using that tool would probably have a lot of power to it. See, the message uses symbol, which itself is the delusion, right? It projects the illusion. So it's using symbol to try to get people out of symbol, but not recognizing that's what the message is trying to do. It just gets absorbed into the delusion, right? So it just becomes the same type of information as all the other stuff. So it doesn't click. The message doesn't get through, and it just gets lumped in with all the rest of the bullshit. And that's the state that we've been in. And my theory finally has resolved all of that. The theory that I have discovered. But it's going to be a long grind to dethrone mathematics. to to try to convince humanity that mathematics itself, the whole fucking system, is exactly 180 degrees the wrong way. It's not. It's just going to be a really few special people that will accept that, see it, and actually accept it. The alternative is thought-free awareness. Yes. So that's the next evolutionary step. It's not complicated to understand what I'm saying. It's just really difficult to accept it. That the next natural stage of evolution is to transcend the thought process, is to transcend the voice in your head. That is the next evolution, the next natural step of increasing self-awareness. But humanity, unfortunately, is following math and the technology, and that's taking the wrong way into deeper delusion. It's all laid out there. It's all laid out for everyone to see easily, clearly. Hmm. Yeah, I think the one with Kurt Jermungle was the best. His most recent one because he's becoming more and more vocal about his like he's really interested in the philosophy. He's actually questioning the very where I am, like the roots of math, the reason of it, right? The purpose of it. It needs someone like him that's well respected in the community, that's in the top 10 of all the mathematics that are in existence. Like he's in the top 10. So someone like him would really expedite this getting out. But again, boy, he's dedicated his entire life to promoting mathematics. And now it's the whole freaking thing is wrong. Yeah, he's a very charismatic dude too. I think he's ready. Like, that would be the biggest thing in mathematics ever. The conclusion of mathematics. The greatest mathematician that's ever lived will be the one that shows it being incorrect and concluded. Yeah, there's some smart Russian dudes for sure. Oh, yes, yes. Yeah, I would say he's probably my number 2 guy, Ramana being number 1 and Nisargadatta, Nis being 2nd. Mhm. Fully enlightened, in my opinion, fully enlightened. All legal. Very cool. Well, it used to be a bedroom, actually, at the very, very top. Now it's pretty much empty. It's going to be a when this house is operating as a meditation retreat center. I intend to have people here. Then that would probably be our meditation room, where I would sit with someone. We'll see. Bald eagles are quite majestic creatures. They're very large. In the end of the world, that'll be the sniper tower. It'll be meditation room / sniper tower. It's funny because it's true. Oh, I don't think I'm pretty far north here, and there aren't a lot of roads in British Columbia, and there's lots of mountains. So I don't think many Americans and their guns will make it this far. Of course, a lot of Canadians around here have guns too. Watchtower, yeah. Yeah, it's the main road, like just the, the main floor is probably 30 feet up from the main road and the driveway. So it's easily defendable. And then it's another 40 feet up from there. So I've really got a good vantage point of my entire property. Yeah, I'm expecting the worst doomsday scenario, absolutely. See, most people don't want to know how bad climate change is because no one wants to look at the negative part of that triune system, right? Our bias is towards the positive side. So we don't want to talk about death. We don't want to talk about anything that's negative. It'll be a food war. Climate's going to get so bad that the food yields are going to drop dramatically, and basically the grocery stores will run out of food. Society will collapse so badly that the food prices will go up, and no one will be able to afford food or even ship the food. The farmers won't be able to grow the food as much as they used to, and then they won't be able to transport it because gas is too expensive and there aren't any truckers anymore and all the trucks are breaking down. So yeah, the food doesn't come from the grocery store. The food comes from farms that grow the food and ship it, and everyone's trying to make a profit. And as the food yields drop around the world, food will become more and more scarce. And when there's food scarcities, that's when riots and societies break down. Is when people are hungry. Yeah. Yeah. There's no going back anymore. We've messed with the cycles so bad. There used to be natural cycles with everything, right? Including the business cycle, but we don't want lows anymore, right? So they messed with the business cycle so that there aren't any lows anymore. They don't want recessions, right? It's that bias of the positive and the negative. So we don't want anything. It's like trying to swing only up. That's what the economists have been trying to do, is only swing up, right? So then they just bank more debt, create more debt, print more money in order to make it so there aren't any cycles anymore. But you can't just harvest, right? That it doesn't make sense. You can't just harvest. There's planting, there's spring, there's summer, there's fall, there's winter. And we have to follow the cycles, but we think we're better than that. And we've messed everything up so badly that it'll never get back to normal. And I just kicked my camera. It's okay, we're live. We deal with stuff like this. Got excited talking about the world. Yeah, so self-sufficiency, growing your own food, trying to find some land where you can grow your own food, and I don't know why this is so shiny. It's the level of ignorance is just shocking that people don't understand what's going on with the climate. It's just shocking. And then it'll just happen because it's exponential. So it's going to happen so fast, especially this next year, 2024, with the El Nino. Everything's going to happen so fast, and then people will just be like, "Well, oh, I'm so helpless. Please help me." Like they'll be asking the government for money because, oh, we didn't see that. How are we supposed to see that coming? How are we supposed to see anything that's happening in the natural world when we're looking at everything that the mind has created on the screen? How can how can we see what's happening with the natural world when we don't look at it anymore? Yeah, we're at the end where the delusion is the deepest. And yet we think we know so much. The irony of it. We've traded in all of the wisdom for all of the intelligence, and now we're just fucking retarded. Like literally, I mean spiritually retarded. Science has retarded spiritual growth. There's no meaning to life anymore or reason. And science has taken that away. This has all been predicted. Kali Yuga, right? It's been predicted. We are in the final stage of Kali Yuga, where the delusion is the deepest. The illusion is the strongest. What do you think of the weapons and violence? Well, it'll just increase. There are more guns in the United States than there are people. It's going to implode. I've compared it kind of like Ebola. So as far as I know about Ebola is that basically at the cellular level, cells just start freaking falling apart at the cellular level. Like it's creepy, right? And that's what I think is going to happen with society. That's what's happening with society is that at the individual level, right? This delusion is happening with each individual, deeply, deeply, deeply deluded. And this is the equivalent of the body when it gets Ebola at a cellular level, it's going to collapse at a cellular level. So all the organs will go at once. It won't be just one organ that you're going to die from. Your entire body will shut down at once. And that's what's going to happen with society. That's what's happening with society is that at the individual level, each individual human is imploding. Their psyche is completely insane. And it's all going to collapse at once. Very, very quickly and very intensely. No, America is not healthy. There's so much energy built up, right? Because it's split directly down the middle, right? Like you think of a magnet that's absolutely perfectly like a really, really, really big, strong magnet, right? That's what the Republican and the Democrat system is. And they're all perfectly aligned on this side, right? To be one way. And then they're all positive on this side. That's what a magnet is. And they're all negative on this side. Right. So it's perfectly polarized down the middle. So it's half and half. And that's exactly what's happening within the United States political system. It's split directly down half in the middle. And they're all one way here and all the opposite way here, and that's a lot of energy built up. And when that gets back to when that switches back to normal, that's going to be the civil war, and that's when everyone's going to be just shooting each other. And this isn't fear mongering. I don't take it or leave it. It's what I see. I can't help but see what I see. It's all inevitable. There's no way that the climate, we should have been doing this in the 80s. We should have started working on this climate change thing in the 80s, but we're so deluded again that it's done. We're done. It's inevitable. There's no way around it. Except for the individual. The individual doesn't have to go the way that the rest of the collective consciousness is going. Well, this one's going to be a relatively short one. So thanks for dropping in. Have a good day.